So, welcome to this unique webinar. And I call this unique because what we are doing today is something very different, especially in the life of a special educator who is getting trained for supporting or handling persons with learning disability. Suddenly, a person with blindness is going to come in today and talk about accessibility for learning disability. So, this is something very unique. But over and above being unique, there are a lot of commonalities when we talk about helping persons with visual impairment and helping persons with learning disabilities. The common pathway is very simple. The visually impaired are not able to read printed text because of their visual deficiency, and the learning impaired are not able to read the same printed text because of their learning disability. They're able to see the text, but often they find it difficult to make sense of the text. Now, as learning disabled specialists, you might have already realized that most of these learning disabled children, I'm not saying all, most of these children, especially dyslexic, respond to audio clues much better than visual cues. For example, if you're reading them text from a book, they should be able to understand it much better rather than they trying to read it themselves and make sense of it. So, in these circumstances, what helps them is the audio part. And again, this is the same audio thing which comes in handy for persons with visual impairment. So, that is where these pathways merge. So, during this course of this demonstration today, we are going to showcase technology which is going to be useful for both the print disabled in terms of the learning disabled and the visually impaired students. I understand there are not many special educators today who are catering to visual impairment, and most of you are dealing with learning disabled. So the interest level is very specific. How do we help the learning disabled read? So if we pick up challenges, some of your learning disabled students would be finding it difficult to read normal text, but sometimes if we give them text in a contrast where we change the background and we change the font color or we change the font type of the text material, they should be finding it a little easier to read. This might be your experience. There would be other cases where people would find it easier to read if we can increase the distance between the two lines that you are reading. Hence, the focus is subjected to the particular line on which the person is trying to read. Similarly, in early grade reading with young children, even if you can increase the spacing between the letters, even that helps some children. Add one more factor to this, where if you feel that you can highlight what is being read, and the same text is also being spoken out in audio, the text is highlighted, and the person is trying to read that highlighted text in conjunction to listening to the audio, how easy it would become. So, this is what we are going to demonstrate, the different possibilities And today's demonstration is specifically done using an Android phone because most of your students, their families would be having at least one Android phone in the family. If need be, in the future, we'll also demonstrate similar features on the Windows laptop or desktop, but that's for a future date. So, to begin today's actual demo, we are going to demonstrate using a very handy application called Dolphin Easy Reader. Now, this Dolphin Easy Reader is a free application for both Android and iOS. It is paid for Windows, but it is completely free for both iOS, that is your iPhones, and your Android phones. So for Android phones, just go to your Play Store and you may also voice type Dolphin Easy Reader. When you do so, the first application that you see, Dolphin Easy Reader from Dolphin Computer Access, that is the one that we need to install. Once you install Dolphin Easy Reader, it is going to ask you to log into your Dolphin account. And if you don't have one, you may also log in using Google. So that's pretty straightforward. Just use that function, log in using Google, and you should log into Dolphin Easy Reader. When you log into for the first time on Dolphin Easy Reader, you will have three options. It will ask you, are you above the age of 16? And it's a tick mark, so you need to uncheck. It says, I am below the age of 16, and you uncheck that. That means you're above that. Second option is, do you want Dolphin to send you regular updates and all that by emails? So you may tick that. And then third one is accept terms and conditions. You should also tick that. So these are all one-time processes. And when you do that, your focus will come in the main bookshelf of Dolphin Easy Reader. So this Dolphin Easy Reader is basically a book reader. Now, it's a book reader. It doesn't have any books of its own. That means you need to get these books from somewhere. So you need to subscribe to some online library, or you can search for books which are there on your phone in the internal memory, and then you can allow Dolphin Easy to read it. So this is the point at which I'm going to start my demo. As a part of this demo, as I said, I am a person with blindness, hence I use a screen reader. So what you will hear on the screen is my screen reader speak everything. And this is a must even when you are working with your learning disabled students. The higher the level of disability, the more support he is going to require in terms of audio feedback. If he has a milder disability and is able to understand a few icons, you need not turn on talkback. But if it's a person with a severe disability and he requires audio visual feedback, then you have to turn on talkback. So let me first go a little back and tell you how to turn on this feature, talkback. For Android phones, you need to go into settings. Within settings, depending upon the phone, either it could be in your advanced option. If it's Samsung, it would be under your accessibility, and under accessibility, it would be an option called vision. In other phones like Motorola, OnePlus, you just go into your advanced settings, which is right at the bottom of the settings list, and under that you will find accessibility. Under accessibility, you should find talkback. You just have to turn on talkback. But remember, when you turn on accessibility, your gestures will change.
Message received from Zana.
That means if you tap once, as you do normally, that will select the item, and on double tapping, it will activate the item. So everything that you do with one becomes two. If you're sliding with one finger, you have to slide with two fingers. If you're tapping once, you have to tap two times to do the same action. And there are tutorials within TalkBack which clearly explains to you how to do all these things. So let's start doing something, and then you will be able to understand what I am doing. So my current focus is within the Dolphin Easy Reader.
GSTB Message received from SCERT. Raikor C 9 standard Hindi.
So let me come out.
G Raja Sheikh Shikan using the home screen 2 3.
Coming out onto my home screen, and that is what you're seeing on your screen. Now I will allow my talkback to speak, and then I will speak. So there will be a little pauses in between what I speak. So please bear with me. So now I'm going to run my finger and find the icon called Easy Reader.
Top star. Left Easy Reader.
That is Easy Reader. And I'm going to double tap on it instead of single tap. As I said, double tap and it should open Easy Reader.
My books. SCERT. Raikor CG 9 standard Hindi. Raikor C. G Raja Sheikh Shikan.
So when I opened Dolphin Easy Reader, it has opened my bookshelf. So this is where all your books would be located. So obviously I have a few books already downloaded and kept ready for demo, but we'll come here later. First, I'm going to show you where as a special educator you can find all these books. So I'm going to press the top left button.
My books out of list. Side menu button.
Which is right at the top left, and it is called side menu. And I'm going to double tap on that.
Menu. My books button.
And now here, as you see on the screen, you see a lot of options. You see Bookshare, you see Gutenberg, you see EPUB books, RNIB Bookshare. So these are all online libraries. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, only open to their members. So we are going to talk today about the world's largest online library, specially meant for persons with print disability. And print disability, as I said earlier, not just includes the blind, but also the learning disabled. And over and above the learning disabled, it also includes anybody who cannot read standard printed text. So that would also include people with cerebral palsy who cannot hold a book, orthopedically challenged, who cannot hold or turn a page of the book. Everybody is termed as print disabled if you cannot hold, turn, or read standard printed text. So that is Bookshare. Bookshare has currently a collection of more than 9,20,000 accessible books. I repeat the figure, 9,20,000 plus. These books are distributed in more than 51 genres, that is categories. And these books are available in more than 36 languages. In India, Bookshare has books in English, Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, Malayalam, Tamil. We have books in Bangla, Punjabi. So all these languages, we do have content. And especially in India, we have books for most of the school textbook boards, many universities, open universities, and even the NIOS program. That means if your student who's learning disabled is finding it difficult to read regular textbooks, should be able to find a textbook for his board, like Maharashtra board, we do have Gujarat board, we have Rajasthan board, we have Karnataka board. All these boards are there. Not just the regular textbooks, but we also have textbooks for maths and science. So even if your student is pursuing maths, that student would be able to find accessible books on Bookshare. Bookshare membership is completely free, and we'll come to that later. So first I'm going to go into that option called Bookshare.
Australia button. RNIB project Republics button. Library button. Bookshare button. Manage libraries button. Bookshare button. Waiting for Bookshare. dr.homey@gmail.com.
So when you log into Bookshare,
side menu button.
You will obviously have to use a username and a password. And this will be provided to you by the Bookshare membership team. I'm going to discuss that later, as I said earlier, how to get the free membership. But remember, Bookshare membership is only meant for blind, print disabled, and you as special educators can become their sponsors. That means you as teachers can get a special permission to download content on behalf of your students. If you are not print disabled, you cannot become a member. But as a special educator, you can become a sponsor, a helper for supporting students with print disability. Okay, so now when you get your username, which is your email ID and your password, when the first time you come on the screen, it will ask you for that username and password. So when you put in your email and you put your password, which has been given to you by the Bookshare membership team, you should be able to log in, and this is the screen that which is going to be there in front of you. So on this screen, as you see, there is search, and even for search, there are various options. So I'm going to just roll my finger.
My latest 3 of 7. My reading lists 1 of 7. Latest 3 of 7.
I'm just
Bookshare out of list. Site log out. Search in all edit box. My reading lists 1 of 7 in list 7 items.
So this first option is called My Reading List. Now this is something very interesting and very important for you as teachers. We do not expect the learning disabled who are finding it difficult to read search 9,20,000 plus books and find the right books initially. So this is where you as teachers could be entrusted to do this job. So you as teachers can create reading lists appropriate for the age of your child. If you create a reading list and you assign it to the student, there are ways, and we'll be demonstrating it in later workshops as we go along. You can actually help the student by selecting content for him, and it appears in his Bookshare account. So the moment the student goes into My Reading List, he will see all the books which have been suggested by you as a teacher for that particular student. So this is the option for My Reading List.
My history 2 of 7.
My history is where the entire history of that particular individual lies. So if you have downloaded 200 books up till now from Bookshare, all those books, all that record would be here.
Latest 3 of 7.
Latest. This is where all the latest books which come on Bookshare would be shown over here. For example, if I go in this,
Bookshare. Showing items 1 to 7 of 11.
So you see these books. These are the ones which have been added. It might be as recently as in the last 1 hour also.
STEMscope CANGSS 3D, STEMscopedia, 7th grade, Rice University, STEMscope CANGSS 3D, A Child's Place in Time, Space Inquiry Journal, William Deverell, Kevin P.
So I'm now going to run through all these titles. There will be thousands of them. As you keep on changing the screen, you will keep on getting the books which have been added recently. This is not a very good way to search books because Bookshare is a global library. We work with more than 950 publishers. So they could be books which might be completely unrelated to you and your search. So I would not recommend that you should go into this latest books. It's just for your knowledge that we keep on adding almost 15 to 20,000 books every month. And all these books come under the latest books category. So let me come out of this.
Bookshare. Browse by category. 6 of 7. IS popular. 4 of 7.
The next category is very important. This is popular books. Popular would be termed as those books which have been read by many people on Bookshare, and this would include people with print disability the world over. So, what are they reading? So, you as a special educator could also get a good idea as to what is being read by people. But as I say, world over, we have got more than 7 lakh members. India has a very small amount of them. We are touching around 20,000 members. So obviously, whatever is read in India will not be termed as popular books. It would be mainly international books. Let's have a look at it.
Bookshare. Showing items 1 to 7 of 11. So the magazines, no. 320, too much and never enough. How my family created Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter 1J.
See, obviously, Harry Potter is one of the most read books. So it is coming there as one of our popular books. So if you want to recommend this as a reading book for your student, you just have to go into popular books, find the book, double tap on it, and I'll show you how to download it in just a minute. Let me come out of this for a minute.
Too much and never enough. How much? Bookshare. Browse by grade. 7 of 7. Browse by category. ISBN lookup. 5 of 7.
Then there is ISBN. ISBN is the unique identifier number for every printed book. You find that on the second page of the printed book. And if it's a novel, it's right at the back of the book. So even if you have this ISBN number, you can type in the ISBN. And if the book is there on Bookshare, you should be able to find this book. But again, in India, we don't depend much on ISBNs. So we generally do the search or the popular search. And there's one more way of searching.
Browse by category. 6 of 7.
And this is the category list which I had mentioned.
Showing items 1 to 16 of 51. Biographies and memoirs. 4 of 51.
So now you see these categories. I'm just going to scroll this page up.
Drama, Earth Sciences. 12 of 51. Showing items 12 to 28 of 51.
Now you see, all these categories are there. So depending upon what type of book you are trying to find, you can also go into one of these categories and search over there. But then be careful, each category would have thousands of books because overall Bookshare is about 9,20,000 plus books. So unless you are clear as to what you want, sometimes it becomes difficult to randomly search books. And it's like a very large library. You're walking into a library, there are shelves and shelves and shelves of books. You don't know what to pick up. So you'll have to go back to the library and ask him, okay, where is the history category or where is the shelf where history is kept? So this is exactly what happens. If you go into the history category, you will see all the books in history. And then you could sort of go around and see if something interests you, you could look at that. Right? So let me come out of this again.
My books. Indian Society Class 12 NCERT National.
And
Semantic Vivian Class 10 Gujarat.
for example, let me go back into the
Side
book.
menu button out of list.
I'll just come out
Menu.
one step
My
more.
libraries button. Bookshare button. Bookshare.
So I wanted to show you how to download a book. So let
My
me
reading
go
lists. 1 of search edit box out of list.
the search option.
Showing English US QWERTY keyboard.
So obviously it's telling you, it's asking you for the title or author or a publisher of the book. So if you know any of these, if for example, if you want to download a book from NCERT curriculum, then you just write NCERT space and the standard for which you are requiring the books. So if it is NCERT 12, you just say NCERT 12 and you should find all the books of NCERT 12, both in Hindi and English, shown to you, and then you could double tap on the book that you want. Right? The other way which I showed you was using the popular thing, which I'm going to go back and show you the popular thing.
Late popular 7.
Let's go into
Bookshare. Too much and never enough. How my family created the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry
So
Potter
for
1J.
example, we are going
K.
on
Rolling EPUB
Harry
877
Potter.
kilobytes 4 of 11.
So there's a book information down there.
Book information. Loading. Book information. Navigate up button.
So this book information is the complete information about this book. It will tell you the author, synopsis, size of the book, everything is mentioned here, and even the download button is here. Even if you search a book by typing it in the search bar, the same procedure happens. You will be able to see the complete information of the book, and you will also see the download button.
Book cover.
So this is the image.
Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone. J.K. Rowling.
This is the author.
Download button.
And this is a download button. I'm going to tap on the download button.
Download in progress. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter 1.
So this starts the download process. Now remember one thing. These books are not in audio. These
Loading.
are...
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
So the book is already downloaded. If it was an audio book, it would have taken ages to download. But because this is a digital book, it's an e-book. It's as good as the PDF books that you see on the internet. Hence, the size is very small, and you can open these books and read them almost instantaneously. Once you have downloaded, you don't even require internet because the book is there on your device and it's ready for you to use.
Harry Potter has no idea how famous he is. That's because he's been... Open button.
And that is the open button. I'm going to press open and the book should open.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter 1. Side menu button.
Now comes the interesting part. If I read this book, and I'll leave it to you to decide how it looks. So I'm just going to open a chapter first.
Book navigation button. 4. Chapter 8. The book navigation. Chapter 4. The Keeper of the Keys 13. Chapter 3. The Letters from No One 10. Chapter 2. Chapter 1. The Boy WHO lived 3%. 422. Book navigation button. Play pause button. Pause. Chapter 1. The Boy WHO lived. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange, mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which made drills. He was a big beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large moustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences. Pause.
So what you saw is exactly what I had mentioned right at the beginning. You were able to see the book. You were able to see the characters. It was being highlighted. And it was also being spoken as you read. That means the student or the learning disabled child is seeing the book. He is able to concentrate on the highlight. You can change the highlight to sentence or you can change the highlight to word by word. And as it is read, the reading is also voiced out. And you could hear that voicing also.
Message received from Kwani's iPhone to every...
Now, there are lots of options for setting this up. And that is what I'm going to show you in detail. All that is right at the top here.
Text settings.
You see that icon? And I'm going to double tap on that.
Text settings. Text settings. Navigate up button.
Now as you come down,
18% seat control.
this is the font
Text size.
How big you want. Remember, this application supports both the low vision, totally blind, learning disabled, everybody. So if your student is able to read this font size, leave it unchanged. If he has got multiple disability, along with learning disability, has some visual acuity, increase the font size.
18% seat. 130%. Font book's default font.
Now, this is something very interesting. Most of you must have learned that dyslexic students find it very difficult if the font is all curvy and very sort of fancy fonts. They prefer straight fonts, easy to read fonts. Now, if the book has been designed in any fancy font, that is where the problem starts for the child. Now, this application gives you the liberty to change that. If I go into font,
Font. Checked radio button. Books default font 1 of 8 in list. Not checked radio button. Century Gothic 2 of 8.
now these are all the different options that you get as a special educator to help your child change the font. So first we saw how to change the size. Now we are seeing that different fonts options are there. So if I select any of
Not
these,
checked radio button. Open Sans 6 of 8. Not checked radio button. Open Dyslexic 7 of 8.
so I'm going to select this,
Text settings. Font open Dyslexic.
Open Dyslexic font. Correct? Now I'm going to go
Font open Dyslexic. Margins.
the margins of your device. If you're reading it on a large iPad or a Android tablet, you might want to sort of space the borders of the text a little away from the margin of the entire tablet. All those margin spacing can be done using this option. But if you're using it on a phone, I would not recommend, because that would reduce your viewing area and make it more difficult. But for tablets, yes, you could do that. I'm going to the next option.
43%. Percent. Line spacing.
This is something very important. I'm going to go into line spacing.
20%. Seat control. Line spacing. 20%. 125%. Letter spacing. 125%. 20% seat control.
I'm just going to increase this.
40% seat control.
Now double the line spacing for a better viewing area. I'm going to go to the next option.
150%. Letter spacing.
This is letter spacing. Similarly, all the letters will become spaced. So as adults, it would make it difficult to read. But if you're showing this book to a child, and if it's a book where you're going to show him A for apple and you want each character to be separated, this is where you can use this setting.
0% seat. 0 PT.
So we are not changing this.
Color theme.
This is something again very important.
No theme. Color theme. No theme. Color theme. Checked radio button. No theme. 1 of 5 in list 5 items.
So there are different themes over here, you can see. And we can select the theme depending upon the preferences of the child. Now this is where you as a special educator need to understand the requirements of these children. If you feel that the child is a little disturbed by a bright screen and keeps on turning away his face from a bright environment, he's not reading constantly. If you give him a bright screen laptop or a phone, you should darken the theme, and that would allow the child to concentrate or focus on the screen for a longer period of time. So what you could do is,
Not checked radio button. Black 2 of 5.
this is absolute black.
Not checked radio button. Dark blue 3 of 5. Not checked radio button. Cream 4 of 5.
So let's check green.
Text settings. Cream.
And now
Text color.
text color.
Background color. Text color. Text color. White 1 of 27 in list 27 items. Showing items
So
1 to
it
14 of
gives you a
27.
lot of options. Now, these three settings are very visual settings. And these are very specific, individualistic settings. The background, the font color, and the overall theme of your application. These three will determine how your child responds to viewing the screen. If he is kind of finding the screen mild, nice to look at, he will look at the screen. If he finds it disturbing, irritating, he might not say it is disturbing, but you will be able to observe that he constantly gets disturbed. He keeps on looking here and there. He's not able to concentrate on the screen. So I'm not going to change this font color for this moment. But I'm going to show you other options also before we go back
Text
to the main
settings.
screen.
Text color. Cream. Text color. Background color.
So this is back.
Sentence highlight color.
This is the sentence highlight. Initially we saw it was yellow.
Text color. White 1 of yellow 8 of orange 9 dark orange 10 of 27.
So
orange 9 of 7.
Make it orange. Just
Text
to play
settings.
around with.
Sentence highlight color. Word highlight color.
You can even word highlight. Right? Let's go and do even
Text
that.
color. Dark orange 10 of 27. Green 12 of 27. Not checked radio button. Dark green 13 of 27.
Let's say dark green.
Text settings. Word highlight color.
I'm just randomly selecting it just to show you the flexibility of this application.
Reset default button.
I'm just going to come out of this setting
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter
and
1.
I'm going to
Text.
read that same text again by using the play pause button, which is right at the bottom just above the home button.
Play pause button.
This is the button.
Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley. In their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and the greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters. Mrs. Potter was Mrs. Dursley. Pause.
So I guess the screen has changed as per our settings. I'm not able to see it, but probably you would be the right people to confirm that it has changed or not. Now you'd say this is speaking too fast. Our students might not understand this. Obviously, they won't understand it because the speed is currently set to my sort of usage. So we have another option over here.
More option button. Audio settings.
And that's called the audio settings. You see that icon over there right at the top.
Audio settings. Audio settings. Navigate up button. 60 English IND autos.com. Google Android.tts.
So this is your text-to-speech engine, which I was talking about TalkBack. TalkBack uses Google text-to-speech engine, and Google text-to-speech engine has got lots of voices, Indian, English, UK, US, lots of them, Hindi, Marathi, all these voices are there. So you can support your child depending upon his preference. Somebody prefer male voice, some people prefer female voice. I'm going to also show you a Hindi text after this.
Add voices button.
You can add voices.
Pronunciation.
You can even change the pronunciation. For example, if it is SNDT, and if you don't want it to be spoken as SNDT, you want the entire name of the college to be spoken instead of SNDT. So wherever it sees SNDT, it will say the entire name of the college. Sometimes it spells or pronounces certain words a little differently. Like a word called Garima, it might not speak properly as Garima, it might say Jarima. Then you could go into the pronunciation and change it. Like Garima, the word Garima should be spoken as this. So all those pronunciations can also be set over here. The speed is also set over here. So if you decrease the speed, it will start reading at a slower speed. So depending upon the requirement of the child, initially when you start reading using both audio visual, I would suggest that you should use a slower speed so that the child gets used to understanding the voice, and at the same time he is also reading the text which is highlighted on the screen. As the child gets used to it, slowly keep on increasing the speed so that your reading becomes much more faster and meaningful. Let me show you a Hindi text.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. S. Sarvajanika Vyayatai B.A. Pune University. G. J. Loman R. M. Chintamani D. S. Kadam R. K. Data EP. Book information. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Indian Society Class 12 NCERT. National Council. Book information. Samajic Vigyan Class 10 Gujarat Board GST. Book information. SCERT. Raipur CG 9 Standard Hindi Raipur C.
So I'm going to open this.
SCERT. Raipur 2.
आंख से संबंधित मुहावरों की सूची तैयार कीजिए और उनके अर्थ भी लिखिए।
3.
अपने अधिकारी या प्रभावशाली व्यक्ति की झूठी प्रशंसा कर लाभ उठाने के उदाहरण तुम्हारे आसपास भी दिखाई देते होंगे। कक्षा, विद्यालय या समाज से ऐसा एक उदाहरण ढूंढकर उसके विषय में अपने साथियों से चर्चा करें।
4.
आपके राजा और राजपुरोहित की यह कथा पढ़ी। इसी तरह अकबर, बीरबल तथा तेनालीराम की कथाएं लिखी गई हैं। इन्हें खोजकर पढ़िए।
5.
छत्तीसगढ़ के मानचित्र में निम्नांकित स्थानों को दर्शाए। क खैरागढ़, ख रतनपुर, ग सरगुजिहा भाषा वाला क्षेत्र,
Ga Kangaroo Ga T.
व कुटुंब सरगु, च मैनपाट।
So this is how Hindi books can also be read, and similarly Marathi can also be read.
Battery 86%. 10:45 a.m.
Okay, good. We are doing very good in terms of time. So at this point, let me pause and take a few questions. I'm going to allow everybody to unmute themselves, and we can just give me 1 second. There we go. And questions. You may unmute.
Hello, sir. Yukti here, sir.
So, can you encourage to ask question? I'm waiting for question. Is this what the demonstration clear? Is it question?
Hello, Umesh sir. Your voice is not clear.
Okay, is it clear now?
Yeah, much better.
So I'm just requesting everyone to ask questions. सब लोग अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं और अनम्यूट करके आपके सवाल पूछ सकते हैं.
So, sir, Yukti here. In the chat box, I can see a few questions. There was one question that can we change the speed? So I guess you did answer this, but then is it possible for you to show the once we change the speed?
Sure.
Hello.
Sure.
Yeah.
Audio options button. Audio settings. Audio settings. Audio settings. 275%. 207%. Seat control. 50% seat control. 5% seat control. 50% seat control. 55% seat control. Add voices button. Press C. Unpick previous button. Play pause button.
यह मैनपाट, यह राज्य का सबसे ठंडा क्षेत्र, दंतेवाड़ा, 5-2, कलातीत खैरागढ़ का संगीत विश्वविद्यालय,
So you saw, I reduced the speed. and it started speaking slowly. Can you read out the question from the chat, Yuki?
So in case participants, if you have any questions, please do ask and clarify your doubts by unmuting yourself.
Can you read out the other questions in the
Message received
chat?
from Title's iPhone to everyone.
Yes, yes, sir.
There was this one question, sir. When you were explaining how to turn on talkback, someone requested whether you can demonstrate that when you were talking about how to turn on talkback.
Let's do that. So let me come out of Easy Reader.
Right. Home screen 2 of 3. BBC iPlayer radio. Search outlook. Apps. Link apps. Settings.
So this is the icon for settings. I'm going into settings and I'm using a OnePlus.
Settings. Settings.
So even in this search box, if you write talkback or accessibility right at the top of the search box, you should be able to find talkback. It will directly take you there. Or
G1 disabled. Apps. Location on setting. System language and keyboard time. Reset system update. Phone 1 button. 25 effects. Tips and support tips and FAQ on device
so
usage.
normally it would be here somewhere deep down in your phone, depending upon the make of your phone. Either it is in your system update, sometimes it is hidden there, or there is an option called advanced, or there might be an option called vision. Depending upon the make of your phone, it should be here somewhere deep down. If you are using an iPhone, again go into settings. Under settings, go to accessibility. Under accessibility, go to voiceover. And under voiceover, you just have to turn it on. For both these, there are tutorials which are available on the net. You just have to ask Google how to turn on TalkBack on Android or how to turn on VoiceOver on iOS. So you will see a step-by-step tutorial for both these devices. Other than that, if you want, you can also contact our helpline. So can you type the helpline numbers in the chat?
Sure, sir, sure.
Yeah. So that is how you could turn on TalkBack. Best option is in the settings at the top, the search, just write TalkBack or write accessibility and you should directly go into the option without having to find it where it is. Okay, next question, Yuki.
So there's one more question as how to create an account in Bookshare.
Correct. Extremely important. So, for Bookshare membership, we require certain details. And these details are the name, email ID, phone number, address with PIN code, and date of birth. I repeat, name, email ID, phone number, address with PIN code, and date of birth. This information needs to be sent to our membership helpline. Sanju is going to type the email ID also. And when you send these details, please attach a scanned copy of the disability certificate of the child. The disability certificate can be issued by either the government authority or by a competent medical authority like a doctor who would certify that this child has dyslexia or learning disability. And within 24 hours,
Bookshare helpline numbers are +9.
sorry, within 48 hours, you should receive an email from our membership team. The email will say something like this: congratulations, your Bookshare account has been activated. The username and the password are as below. Obviously, the username will be your email which you have provided. And please use the password that the Bookshare team provides to you in your inauguration mail. The membership ID, please.
Thank you, sir. There's one more question. Can we download Bookshare on laptop or PC, or it's only a mobile app?
We can download Bookshare books on PC also, though the reading method is a little different than what you saw on your Android phone. As I said right at the beginning, Dolphin Easy Reader is available as an application for PC also, but it is a paid application. It's a one-time payment of about 4,000 rupees, and you can buy this application. Most of the menus would look very similar to you as you have seen over here. So if you download and install Dolphin Easy Reader, then from Dolphin Easy Reader itself, again, you will get an option to log into Bookshare, search, and do exactly what we did right now. If you do not want to buy the Dolphin Easy Reader on your PC, there are other ways of doing it also. You can directly go to bookshare.org and select the book and read a book over there also using our web reader, and which time permitting, once we finish the questions, I will demonstrate to you.
Question. Now, as you already explained that how to create account in Bookshare as a child with special needs perspective. Now, there are some special educators and who are specializing in learning disability, hearing impairment, and intellectual disability. So the question is, in case if the teacher wants to make their account in Bookshare, so is it possible for the teachers or special educators to make their account in Bookshare?
Great
Message
question.
received from Sonali Jack out to everyone. Compiled with profound.
Before I go there, number one, I would like to clarify that hearing impaired do not come under the print disability category because they can
Correct.
read.
Yeah.
They have
But there are questions from teachers, like the participants is a mixed group. So they all are specializing in hearing impairment, also in learning disability. So they have a question. They want to make an account as a special educator.
Yes. So account as a special educator is called as a sponsor. So to become a sponsor, first SNDT has to sign up as an organizational membership or any of their colleges or any workplace that they might be working has to sign up as an organization member. If they're working for an NGO or a hospital or a center which is serving the learning disabled, that center becomes the organization member. Once you sign up as an organization member, then the organization is entitled to appoint sponsors. Now, these sponsors are the special educators who would be then downloading content on behalf of their students. If the student is not in a position to download himself or herself, then this is the right way of doing it. But if the student is an adult with a capacity to download himself or herself, you should allow him to become an individual member and encourage him to download himself. Again, for
There's, sorry.
this, one should contact the Bookshare helpline either by calling them or by writing an email to the email which has been listed, membership-india@bookshare.org.
Hello, sir.
Good.
Sir, if at all, if we can we have multiple accounts? Like if I, as a special educator, is a sponsor, then obviously my child will have its own account. Or can we have multiple accounts, or only
Or
one account and then share?
you are the sponsor, so you hold a sponsor account. Your child who is a person with a print disability can have an individual account. Either you go to his individual account and download it, or if you're not sitting right in face to face with the child, Then, as a sponsor, as I demonstrated in the beginning, you can log in from your organization account, select the books, create a reading list, and then that reading list is assigned to your individual member, your child. So the moment he opens his Dolphin Easy Reader and goes to the first option, which we saw, reading list, all the books that you have selected would appear there.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
Message received from Sanjok at bookshare.org to everyone. Bookshare email address is
So
membership
there's
dash.
one more question. There's a participant named Said Roshan Ali from Kolkata, and he's a person with visual impairment. He's currently pursuing his BCom from Calcutta University. So he wants to know whether there are books in Bookshare for BCom available.
So my answer is very simple. Because we have more than 9,20,000 titles, it would be very difficult for me to say yes or no to this question. I would encourage the person to become a member of Bookshare, which is completely free. He just has to send his blindness certificate along with the data required to the membership ID. And then we can also help him over the phone to teach him how to search. And he can do his own search, download material, read it.
So I guess, Said Roshan, you have got your answers. So in case if you want membership, you can please send your certificate and with the details that are required, and you can Dr. Homiar will be able to help you in activating your account in Bookshare.
That's So there are a couple of questions from my side to the participants. The way that we demonstrated today, do you feel that it is going to help your learning disabled children to read and write?
Sir, again, there is some disturbance in the voice.
I repeat, today we demonstrated a different way of reading for your visually impaired students. Do you feel, as the special educators for the learning disabled, do you feel is this method a good way to help your children?
Message received from LS5015 to everyone. Yes, ma'am, I want to become a member of Bookshare.
Can you have answers to this question which I asked?
Yeah, there are no responses.
We
Best
have a silent
658 to everyone.
participant
100.
group.
percent it will help children with learning disability, and getting us yes sir, definitely it will help us.
Has this method been tried,
Message received from
or
Maria.
is it
Message
a
received from
part
Raj
of
Lakshmi.
your
Sure, sir.
teaching
Message received from
curriculum?
So we do have a part of Bookshare in our syllabus, but there's paper, so we don't actually try it out practically, but then we do teach them the basics of what is Bookshare and how does it work, but not practically.
So, in fact, we can offer this to SNDT and all the other associated colleges, that we
Message received from
can
Krishna Shah to everyone.
annually do this as a regular series of workshops. And it's not just a 1 2 hour session, but we can have an extended session where we handhold all the teachers and allow them to use technology on their own phones and show them how to log in, download, read, do all the settings. Because unless you as teachers learn this technique, it is going to be very difficult for you to pass it on to.
Absolutely.
Just by theoretically knowing what is Bookshare is not going to help.
It's absolutely. So as a teacher's, like I myself specialize in visual impairment. So as
Yes,
a
I think
teacher
it's a
and
very
as a
good
special
idea.
educator, I really need to have hands-on experience.
Yes, I think that's a very good idea. We also have Anuradha Bagchi from Helen Keller Institute, and she's also agreeing to this, that we should have a hands-on experience in this, and I think we can plan this. Right now, it seems maybe, they are not able to comprehend it. That's why the silence. But when they see it live in front of them, the students will then understand the significance and the practicality of this, I feel. I think we should plan this.
True, because we as Bookshare work worldwide, both in
Yeah, yeah,
developed countries.
yes,
And most of the developed countries have this system in place where the learning people do use this technology extensively.
yes, yes, yes. I think we all are getting now a feel of technology more due to this COVID. And we had some apprehensions, many people just that kind of run away from technology, including me. I'm not very well versed with technology. It's now that we are using it more. And particularly in the field of visual impairment, there is so much of technology available. And with learning disability, they have still been able to manage without that much use of technology. But as the time we see right now, I think most of our teaching is going to be based on technology. And this will be really very useful, not just for the visually impaired, but for learning disabled children as well. So yes, I think it's a very good idea, and we should consider it seriously, how we can incorporate it as a part of our curriculum transaction, maybe in the next batch.
We'd be
Let's
more than
proceed from one
happy.
iPhone to everyone. Yes, please have a practical session.
Yes, yes.
And Bookshare is committed to all the colleges, especially for learning disabled and visually impaired,
Yes.
where we, even before COVID, we used to go and conduct these workshops.
Yeah. Yes,
We have
yes,
done a
yes.
lot of these workshops
Right.
in Coimbatore at the Ramakrishna Missions
Yes, yes, yes.
colleges. So we'd be more than happy to do it with SNDT.
No, no, we'll definitely take it forward. We'll definitely take it forward.
One more piece of information, probably you might be aware about Claro as a reading app, if that has been promoted in the
No,
college.
no,
Okay,
no, no, no.
so that's a pretty expensive piece of technology which does almost similar things to this.
Okay.
So as we go along, and if we can have more sessions, even online sessions, if you suggest, even your Windows PC does have a lot of these features. So we would be more than happy to come in and show you how your Windows PC is configured for your learning disabled students to read.
That would be
Because
wonderful, because to buy another equipment or any such technology which comes with a heavy price, for university departments, it becomes very, very difficult. We are always, struggling to get anything which is expensive because we have very limited budgets. But what is already available, and there is also a lot of open resource available, we are not aware of that. So such things, definitely, yes, we should become aware and we should use it to its optimal use.
I agree. And that's the reason why we started with Android, which is the most affordable and most common
Yes,
piece of technology.
yes, 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 true. So
I
yes,
do,
Dr. Homer, we think we must continue this. Yes.
some questions have come up or some comments have come up in the chat. Yuti,
Um,
Message received from LS5015 to everyone. Sir, can you please send me the Bookshare line number once more?
yeah, somebody wants the Bookshare helpline number.
can you do that again, please?
Yes, sir, I will.
Yeah, and
Comment
yeah,
like,
yeah,
so
practical
I have a
sessions also.
question.
Something which can be
Yeah,
hands-on.
someone,
That's very
yeah,
important. Yeah.
students like almost from all organizations and institutes, they want a practical session to
Yes.
comprehend it better.
Yes.
So, yeah,
So once the corona is gone, we are back to our normal life, then we will have a hands-on training workshop on this. That will be more helpful. This is like just a peep into what is there. So you kind of become familiarize with what is available. And then in better times, we will actually have a hands-on session where they will learn how to use this.
Groups of 10 to 15
Yes,
special educators, and our teams can handhold them. So we can
right.
have a long session where we encourage you to set up your phones, use this technology, and ask us questions on the online session. But that won't be possible for a larger group like what we have today. So we'll
Yes,
have to
yes,
conduct
yes.
that in a groups of 10 to 15. And we are
Correct,
most
correct,
happy to do that.
correct. Our group right now is just 17 students, so we can organize for them. This was like, more and more people get to know about what is available. They should know what Bookshare is and what are the possibilities of getting from there. How will it help our students with the children with learning disability or any print disability. So it's nice to reach out to more at this point of time. But when it comes to actual training, hands-on training, then definitely we should have smaller groups, and we can organize every college. The strength is not huge these days. Everybody has about 10 to 20 students. So each college can organize their own program.
That's very workable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other comments?
No, I think we can continue.
Okay. So, would you like to have a little peep into how it works on the Windows
Message received from
environment?
Anya Bagsheet, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Ban and Yakti, for informing us about the session. It's very, very informative. Yes, hands-on training will be very useful.
Should we go ahead and do a little demo on the laptop?
Yes, I think that should be a good idea.
Okay.
Message received from Delta, everyone. Yes, sir.
Just require 1 minute to switch out from my Android and switch over to my PC.
About phone 1 plus Nord 25 or 26. Overview button. Home screen. Zoom. Zoom. Stop. The Dr. Ban. Stop. Wi-Fi audio.
Okay, so I'm back with you from my PC this time. Ah, am I audible?
Sir,
Yes? Good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen. I'm not going to share my sound this time so that it doesn't disturb you people. So what I've done is I've shared my screen and I'm going to go into settings, which is something very important. I'm using a Windows 10 build 2004. So can someone confirm that you are viewing my settings screen? Yuvti, can you confirm that?
Yes, sir. So we can see the window setting page.
Settings screen, done.
Yes, sir.
So now, the most important feature that we are going to show you is here. Ease of access. This is the one that we need to go into. Normally people don't look at this option. So now as you see there are these groups. One is vision, mouse pointers, magnifiers, right? There is this color filter, right? Even for hearing people, there is a lot of options out here for those who want closed captioning and everything to be turned on. So just for a sample demo, I'm just going to go into high contrast. I'm just going to press this. And there is your theme settings. So all these options that you're seeing currently on your screen give you so much of flexibility when it comes to setting up your screen. It actually gives you the flexibility to color code everything in a different way. And it also gives you the option similar to what you saw on my Android phone, where you can change the font color, the text color, the background color. Look at all the different appearances. I repeat, there is no such thing as a standard setup when it comes to high contrast. Every individual has different requirements. Every individual having a learning disability or a visual acuity has his own specifications which he will prefer. So as a special educator, your role is very simple. You need to understand what of these settings or which of these settings are going to do what changes. You need to experiment with this. The student, the child has to sit in front of the monitor, has to look at it, and you keep on changing things, and it will keep on telling you. The child would say, this looks good, that looks better, this is not good, I don't like this color, this font looks better. So that is how you can do using this Windows settings. This is one option. I'm not going to do anything more over here. I'm going to open another application. This is called OpenBook 9.0. So I'm going to open OpenBook. So now, this OpenBook, let us see something, let us open some. So now, what I'm going to show you is, just by using a few commands, you will be able to see what happens on the screen. Now, can somebody unmute? Vyuti, can you unmute and just tell me what is happening on the screen?
I guess the magnifier is used, the font size is increasing and decreasing.
Correct. Now, what I'm doing is just using one simple command to change the font. Depending on the size of the child's requirement, you can keep changing, you can increase or decrease. I'm going to do another setting. Can you tell me what is happening now?
Yeah, now it's the color contrast which is changing.
Correct? Now, from your own personal perspective, can you tell me which one you would like? I'm going to change, keep on changing. The one you prefer, this looks nice, tell me.
Yeah, yellow and black has a good combination.
That's one. I'm going to keep on changing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is not good. Yeah, it's too light the contrast. Yeah, if red and yellow is also good. Like in case if red fonts is good, like people who loves bright colors, and yellow is a good base.
Okay.
Even yellow blue is good. Yellow black is anytime.
See, I'm just changing with one simple button. Control 5 is the command over here in this application. And as a teacher, it gives you so much of flexibility. You preferred which one?
I would prefer black and yellow.
Black, yellow.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Yep. So why did you prefer this?
It because then it highlights the black background gives us a good background color which which enhances the color, the font color,
Okay.
so it's easily readable.
Okay. See, as a person supposedly with normal sight, also you found that this color contrasting helped you. So imagine for a person with learning disability, having issues with looking at the font, so much of problems, and you just change one simple contrast and that person starts at least looking at the text instead of just running away from the text. Now let's do some more changes. Now see
Yeah, the font style is changing now.
the fonts are changing. Now tell me which
Yeah, font
suits
style.
you. Does this one look a little better? Times?
Yeah, this is Times New Roman. Yeah,
Right.
it
It
looks
looks
better.
all nice and straight.
Yeah.
Right. Now see the spacing.
Yeah, it's all over the page as of now.
Correct. So I'm reducing the spacing now. This is the least spacing. Everything has gone close to each other. I'm increasing the spacing now. The moment you do that, everything will be a little spread out, right? So with open book also, these are sort of specific applications where you can play around and do a lot of these customizations. Once you do these customizations, they are saving options. Say for example, Mahesh wants this, Ramesh wants something else, somebody else wants something else. As a instructor, if all these children are coming to your classroom, you can have different options saved on the same machine. So if Mahesh starts reading, you just load Mahesh's setting and everything exactly come the way you have set it up. It gives the teacher so much of flexibility. Once this is set up, we have found wherever we have worked in situations with learning disabled children, they have adapted technology much faster, and they have started using. I agree with Sonali. Absolutely agree with Sonali. Right? Any questions for this part of this demo? This is just a little peep that I have given you. There could be many more settings which we can take over in detail when we do the detailed practical sessions.
I have a question.
Please.
There's also one speech to text software named as Dragon.
Correct.
So how does it help for children with visual impairment or print disability? Can you put light on it?
Sure. Dragon is basically meant for typing. So Dragon is an extremely powerful tool if you train it, and it requires about 5 to 6 hours of speech training. So there will be words on the screen and you have to spell or you have to pronounce them in your way, or you have to read the text on the screen with your voice, and then Dragon learns how you speak to the computer. Once you do that, without touching the keyboard, you can actually tell Dragon to open files. You can actually tell Dragon to open your email client. You can say open a new email, so it will open a new email. Write to, so it will say to. Then it will ask you whom do you want to. So you say Dr. Sujata Bhan. So it will add the address from the address book. Then you say okay, write the message. Then you might say delete the message or correct this word. It's an extremely powerful tool provided you're given it the right training. More than the visually impaired, it's meant for people who have got dexterity issues with their hands, who are not able to type. So Dragon is used for them. Again, it's an expensive piece of software, but with Windows 10 coming in, if you go into your control panel, under the speech option, there is the speech training module where you can actually train your Windows to do the same thing. And it's completely free. So we would recommend that if somebody requires speech to text, you should use Windows, but it only works with English and no other languages, both Windows as well as Dragon. You cannot train them to read or write in Marathi.
So also, sir, Dragon, it has a free trial software which can be downloaded, but it doesn't give accurate text, right?
Because you're not trained it, no? You have to train Dragon first. As I said, 5 to 6 hours of voice training is required. With Windows, that training is very less. Probably 15 minutes and you are ready to go. So you should try. If I show you, let me close this. So if I open my control panel, just a second. And if I go to this speech recognition, this is the option that you need to go into. Are you able to see the option icon, speech recognition? And I'm going in.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right. You need. So this is the speech options, and you need to go in there and train your microphone. So what you need is a microphone. It will not accept your inbuilt microphone of your laptop. You need the microphone which is there with your headphones, and you should use a better quality microphone. Once you do that, once you start the recognition, it will show you the text on the screen. You just have to keep on spelling it out or reading it out in your voice, and Windows will learn how to use it. There's another option in Windows 10 called Cortana. Cortana also does a similar thing. If you set up Cortana and then you tell Cortana to, it's like your Google search engine. When you use your OK Google on your phone, it's a similar thing that happens on your Windows. You use Cortana. Plenty of options are there. And these are all free options.
I guess we should try so once, because until we have until we special educators have hands-on experience, I guess we will not be able to get what the actual feature is.
I agree. I completely agree. And that is where I disagree with the current syllabus of all these special educator schools that are running, where technology is one of the least focused items. Even for visual impairment, there's just 5 pages if I stand corrected. I think Yuti would be able to tell us about that. Yuti, are there any more than that 5 pages of technology in your textbooks?
Yeah, we do have the entire paper named as Technology and Disability. So where it talks, especially I would say about B.Ed visual impairment, where it talks about open source resources. It talks about Bookshare. It talks about Daisy Books. So
But then there is no practical exposure to it.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
We don't.
Right.
We do. I have done my M.Ed from Ramakrishna Mission, Coimbatore, and I also have got training under Shankar Subhaya sir for assistive technology.
Exactly.
So he did told us ki what can you do to give
Right.
them at least a trial experience, so that at
Right.
least a participant or trainee should know what is it about. So I do
Right.
give few examples, a few videos where they actually can connect. Educator and in higher education, I really feel so we all need to have practical exposure to connect it better and better.
I agree. And today, without technology, nothing works. So again, repeating, we would be more than happy to come back and
Definitely,
talk about
sir,
a lot of technology practicals with you colleges, because we want the teachers to be equipped. The teachers should be able to operate all these things. Unless you do it, how do you expect your students to go there?
absolutely. So there is one question in the chat box. It is like, is it possible to read PDFs using open book, or is it only for e-libraries?
No, it's possible to read PDF, Word, audiobooks, Daisy books, everything. It supports a whole lot of file types. You can open a PDF in OpenBook. You can even scan a page. So that's one more addition of OpenBook. You can scan books directly, a printed book, and you can use all these functionalities on a scan book.
So sir, OCR, like because
Yep,
open resource, it gives us to scan. So it must be using OCR software as
it
well, right?
does. OpenBook
Yeah.
is an OCR plus. It also gives you all this functionality.
So does it also take other languages except English, or it's
No,
only meant for English?
for other options of OCR, then we have got other softwares. And the best one I would suggest is using your Google Drive, which is completely free. So any PDF or an image file which contains text, just upload it on your Google Drive, and I'm talking about the web version. Right click on that file and you will have an option called Open with Docs. The moment you do that, Google runs an OCR, selects the language appropriate to the text in there, converts the entire image or the PDF into editable text, and it opens it within a Google Docs page. And then again, when you right click on that, it also gives you an option of save as docs. So you can save that file as a Microsoft file and you could download it and start working on it.
Okay. So there's one more question. Is there voice modulation option available?
Voice modulation. I'm not clear about what voice modulation would be required.
Voice modulation, I guess Raju Lakshmi meant was like to increase speed and decrease speed of
Absolutely.
the screen reader.
All these options will definitely be there, both for Android, iOS, and Windows. You can control the voice, change the speed, change the pitch. Everything is customizable.
I guess Raju Lakshmi, you got your answer. And I can't find any more questions in the chat box as of now.
Brilliant. So at this point, what I would suggest is I would leave it to the management of SNDT and the other colleges to plan further workshops, give us more time and smaller number of participants and more active participants, because we'll require you to speak, we'll require you to come back, ask us questions much more than what you've done today. The more you ask,
I think, I think because today was just a familiarization. When they will be live face to face, then definitely there will be a lot of questions, a lot of curiosity. They will not be silent anymore.
and I ensure that we won't end before we answer all their questions.
Yes, I'm sure too.
Right. Just for information, right after this session, we are going to start working with the teachers of the Victoria Memorial School for the Blind, and we are helping them.
Okay.
So VMS is going to be the first school in Bombay, especially a blind school. It's going to go completely digital.
Somebody has
Handwritten, yes, I read the question. Handwritten text is an issue. Handwritten text can be managed by an application called Envision, Envision, Envision AI, which is there on the Android. So if you open your PDF handwritten, it will make a reasonable job of converting the handwritten text. Probably if it's not my handwriting, if it's my handwriting, nobody can read it. They are even worse than Gandhiji's. But if your handwriting are reasonable, then you should be able to convert your handwritten text into regular text using Envision AI, Envision, which is available on Android. Envision also converts any PDF into TXT file, and it also runs an OCR automatically, something similar to what I said for Google Drive. So those people who require PDF to be converted into editable text, please try Envision AI. Any more questions?
No, sir. No, sir. There are no more questions as of now.
Good. So if Dr. Van would like to give her ending comments.
Yes. First and foremost, I would like
Just a second, there's a chat and somebody wants me to repeat, and that is Envision, Envision. I think as a person from Kolkata, please contact the helpline. We'll be more than happy to help you. That's right. Envision AI. You need to put AI at the end.
I think Yukti would like to say a few words and then I'll give my concluding comments.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a privilege to have you here with us. Now, being a professional and specialized in visual impairment, I still feel that we want to learn more and more about technology because in this pandemic situation, as well as in other circumstances, one really should know and should learn about all the practical, the assistive technologies that we use for children with visual impairment or any other disability. So Bookshare, we do talk about Bookshare in our syllabus. We do share about Bookshare with our students. But then this was a platform where we got to know about Bookshare in depth because you did show us practically, and that was an amazing webinar today that we were able to attend. So, sir, it was our sincere privilege that we were able to have you here today with us. And I'm also glad that Harshadwani College of Special Education, Helen Keller Institute of Deaf and Deafblind, and Jamia Millia Islamia University, Delhi, they were able to be a part of our webinar. So I'm really thankful to you, sir, because this was not possible until you have come up with your idea. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I would like to hand over it to Dr. Bhan now.
I will not agree less with Ms. Yukti. It's an extreme honor that you are such a busy person and you conduct these workshops, not just in India, even abroad. So you on your own suggested that we should go ahead with it. And like so many people who are here today from different colleges, different institutes, would at least get to know the relevance and the importance of such software. Like there is so much available, but we really don't know much about it. So it's time that we equip ourselves with this knowledge and make our disabled children, disabled adults more equipped and more empowered. So for that, we need to train ourselves first very much. So this is the beginning, and I'm sure that we will take it forward. And you are going to give us your support that we don't question at all. We just need to actually figure out when this corona goes away and then we get back to our life where we have this physical interaction is possible. So it will be some time, but I don't think that's very far away. I mean, all of us are just praying and things are improving. So I'm sure it will be soon that we will get back to our normal life and we can go on with our, the normal interactions and learn more technology in the normal life. It should not be like we use technology only in this manner, the way we are doing it today. So I want to learn and I'm sure that everybody will agree that you learn technology, you use technology, but it cannot be only the way we are doing it now. That physical contact is very essential. And to learn something also about technology, the physical contact is extremely important. So thank you very, very much. And we'll keep in touch and we will see when and how we can go about it and go take it forward. Thank you very much.
Just
Sir,
to,
I
yep.
Say, for example, Anuradha, you're there from Helen Keller Institute. If you would like to say something, please feel free to say. Can she unmute herself and say something?
Yes, she may.
Yes, you can. So,
Permissions is there.
Anuradha, are you there? Is Anuradha there? Yukti, can you check if she's there?
yes, ma'am, she is there.
Yeah, she's very
You
much
her.
there. So, Anuradha,
Yeah.
if you can hear me, you're
Can you
representing the Deafblind Institute. Yeah, please. Yeah, she's there. I don't know if she can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear, but
Yes,
can
yes.
you unmute me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am. Good,
now.
good. Nice
Anuradha,
and
we can
clear.
hear you now.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really been a very, very informative session. And in fact, we came to know about you in the last ICVI conference
Yes.
Nepal.
Nepal.
Yes, and as I suggested, we'll definitely include this in our teacher training curriculum. And also, as Dr. Bhan suggested, that we should have some hands-on sessions also with you. And I'm sure that it will also help we are catering to deafblind students, deafblind and VI with additional disability students, but I'm sure it will also help our deafblind students. Only few adaptations will be needed that we can definitely work out.
In
So
fact, we
it's
can
going
take a
to
complete session, ma'am, on deaf blindness because we work with Sense India also. And today, the advent of the refreshable braille display and the orbit writers and everything which has come out, it's an
yes.
opportunity for the deafblind to be included.
Yeah, we would definitely like to include them, and we do have some very high functioning students with deafblindness or multiple disabilities. For them, it's really going to be a blessing for them. So we look forward to more sessions and to get in touch with you. Thank you so much, Dr. Bhan and Yukti, for informing us about the sessions. I've been listening I've been there throughout the session. My trainees are there also. So thank you.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
Thank you.
In fact, I agree with Sonali, who's just put up a chat that Corona has been a blessing in disguise for most of the person with disabilities, especially visual impairment. The acceptance of technology, which we have seen in the last 5 months, has not been there for the last 5 years. So we are extremely happy with Corona, no problems. Let people go in the right direction.
Yes.
And thank you so much for inviting us.
The platform to connect. It's also providing us the platform to connect with so many people from different parts of the country and world. So that's one positive thing that I look at when we think about Corona, you know.
Absolutely.
So it's easier to arrange webinars than to have a proper physical meeting. So also we are able to arrange so many. So that's one positive thing about Corona.
Sure.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we will definitely take it forward with the support of other institutes as well. So we can do it individually or collectively. We'll think about that. We'll see what works best for everybody and we will do it.
So this lecture is recorded and will be shared on the India Bookshare YouTube channel.
Okay.
We'll also send you the link for further distribution.
Sure.
Feel free to distribute as widely as possible.
Yes. Somebody has mentioned that they lost connection and would they be able to have a recorded version. So there you tell them that yes, it will be, and it can be shared with many more who have not been present in this meeting. They can also benefit from this in future.
Thank you so much for inviting us. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Dr. Homiya. Wonderful having you with us. Wonderful. Really, very, very informative. And also, since we know we can take it forward, so there is a lot to look forward to. That's the best part of it.
I'll look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir,
Thank
may
you.
I request something, please?
Please, go ahead.
Yeah, so before we all disconnect, can we have a group picture? Because the session was amazing and we actually benefited from this webinar a lot. So we would like to have a group picture with everyone, and if you don't mind, can we go with the group
Sure,
picture?
you could go ahead, except for my camera won't be there.
No
Okay,
problem.
never mind, never mind.
Your
My
profile
name and my photograph is
are
always
there.
there.
Yeah, your display picture looks like you're there.
You're
So
right there. Absolutely.
yeah,
It's so live. It's really alive.
absolutely.
The
So,
only reason
sir,
why I don't share my camera is my bandwidth might drop and then the voice quality would.
Yeah, no problem.
Good.
No problem.
Yeah.
sir,
Good,
sir,
Yuti.
so if you don't mind, can you stop sharing your screen so that we
I
can
will.
have a
I
title?
will. There it is. There we
I
go.
request all the participants and trainees to switch on their camera so that we can have their picture.
Yukti ma'am, your own camera is off.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just switching it on.
Yes.
So here I go. Jyoti, if you can just switch on your camera, please.
Anuradha madam.
Can you have my display picture? I think my display picture is there.
No, we can't see your display picture also. We want to see your beautiful picture.
Oh my God.
Yuti, what has been the number of participants today? Any
At
idea?
about 60?
64, 65. The last number we saw was 65.
Brilliant.
That's
And if you're taking a snapshot or a screenshot of this image, please share this as a screenshot with me.
sure.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. Okay, yeah, I'm done with the lecture. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
All the
Yukti.
trainees from all different organizations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we take leave now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. Homia.
Thank you
everybody.
so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Thanks,
Thank you so
Anuradha,
much.
for coming. Bye-bye.